Yo, what is up guys, and welcome back to another episode of the F2 to F1 driver career mode right here on F1 2021. So today we are in Baku, as you may want to call it, Azerbaijan, if you want to call it that. It's the Baku street circuit. So let's head on to the qualifying session as we get underway to this weekend of a track that I absolutely love because of its features. This is a track that has the straights, it has the corners, it has the overtaking and the slipstream galore 2.2 kilometers straight, which I am a huge fan of. So coming down into turn 2, we do take this track more or less professionally because we know where we can lose time, we know where we can gain time. So this was looking on to be a pole position coming up as we set a purple sector 1. I was really impressed at this point until in sector 2 I seemed to be losing a lot of the time to the AI, which was devastating because I couldn't really catch up that quickly. So coming down at the 2.2 kilometers straight, we will finish supposedly at P5. So P5 is the final qualifying position. Mick Schumacher takes pole position by half a second away from us, which was disappointing, but nonetheless we can still recover this in the race.
The Caspian Sea in a bustling, vibrant capital, which once again plays host to the spectacle of Formula 2. This is not your usual racing circuit. It provides one of the most complete tests for the field. Sector 1 sports a set of 90-degree corners around the block, if you like. Sector 2 gets even tighter with the old city walls. Sector 3 just turns 16 to negotiate, and then 2.2 kilometers flat to the floor, full throttle in 6th gear, all the way to the end. Joining me today is a man who is no stranger to going fast, Davide Valsecchi of GP2 2012 fame. Great to have you here today, Davide. Are you enjoying yourself here in the beautiful city of Baku?
Absolutely, Alex. Baku is fantastic, and so this track. Have a check. The architecture, the narrow street. Easy to see why it's one of the most exciting circuits on the calendar. But Alex, street circuits can be unforgiving. I wouldn't be surprised if you see a safety car or two out during today's race.
And here are the driver grid positions for today's race. A fantastic effort from Mick Schumacher yesterday puts him on pole position, with Yuki Tsunoda alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Ticktum, Piquet, the captain, and Schwartzman, Daruvala, Aitkit, Giotto, Felipe Dragovic, Armstrong, Joe, Nobuharu Matsushita, and Alesi, Ilott, Sato, Samaya, and Louis Delatraz. Markelot, Mazepin, Galeo, and Roy Nissany completes the grid. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are on the track for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. As ahead of us we have PK, behind us we have Schwartzman. It's 5 lights and away we go. We do get a good run off on PK, I believe that was that Ticktum? Yes, Ticktum, as we do get an illegal overtake just as soon as we make the move because we're off the track, all 4 wheels. Yes, Jeff, we did give up the position. Now coming into turn 2, we do challenge PK into this corner as we all battle for P4. He does overtake us for a split second, but we managed to make the move stick. Now looking back at the start replay, you see Schumacher and Tsunoda did get a beautiful start, and then we have Ticktum and I battling out for P4, and behind us it was just 2 by 2 coming up to the end of the first lap. Mick Schumacher does set Mick Schumacher does set the fastest lap of the race as lap 1. We head on into lap 2. Coming into the second sector, we do set a purple sector 1, which is amazing given that we did not think we had the pace, given that we were half a second off the qualifying pace, right? So we do move out the outside, trying to push Piquet into defensive, but he does not budge. Coming up into this is my favorite part of the track, the castle section. It's so narrow to the point where you have to have precision throughout. It's not like Monaco where the entire track is precision, but that part specifically needs a lot of precision. So we do set up an overtake on PK as we have the slipstream. Coming down into the final turns of sector 3, we overshoot the brakes, getting launched by the curbs, but at least we didn't run into PK or fly over him. That would have been a disappointment from us as we'd have to DNF the race. So we try to go flat out. We have to lift because we were just in the dirty air. We did not have enough downforce to get past there. flat out. So coming back into the castle section, this section is beautiful. You can't tell me it is not. Look at it. You just whoosh in and then you whoosh out. You have to get it pinpoint correct. It's even harder in a Formula 1 car because these cars are wider. So we come up to finish the third lap. In front of us we have PK as we have the slipstream thinking about going for the move. We do dive down the inside as he attempts to defend, which was a very nasty defending. If you saw that, he did push us off towards the wall side as he made a very late move, but we do manage to make the move stick. That was a nice overtake. We had slipstream, we had everything set up, and then this guy decides to turn into us, forcing us to react very quickly. If we did not react that fast, we would have gotten wing damage. But that was a overtake that was sealed and done. Alright, so now coming up to lap 5, the end of lap 5, we managed to get on flat out into this beautiful part of the circuit. Now that was the first time this entire weekend, apart from qualifying, that we've gotten it flat out, because that part, if you are following a car, you get dirty air, hence reduced downforce. We do have a damaged front wing, so I'm actually surprised how we got past there without any damage, as we do set the fastest lap of the race. Sonoda ahead of us. We're challenging him for P2. Coming back towards the end of lap 6, now we are on lap 7, the final lap of the race. We do follow Sonoda close by. We are gaining, but now we have 2 damaged wings. We don't have the downforce we had in the first lap, so this was a pretty hard thing to do as we were following him all through, trying to not lose as much time as possible. But in the end, we just had to yield because we couldn't set up the overtakes the way we wanted to, because we had to lift in places where he was flat out. So coming up into the final sequences of turns of sector 3 of this lap, we just have a damaged wing, and this was enough to keep us away from P2, as Sonoda is already a second away from us. That means we're not going to get DRS, as we do lift right there because we did not have the downforce to take us through those turns. But all in all, it's been a good feature race. We do manage to come up all the way till P3 from P5, overtaking Tictum and PK. We've only made 2 overtakes this race, which is not our usual. We usually make more than 5, but given that we started from P5, that's amazing. We do score a podium and get driver of the day given our overtakes. But that was the feature race. Not very eventful, but it was very fun to drive.
That was to take the win for Prema today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
This race, this win, was about one thing and one thing only: consistency. Anyone can be quick for just 1 lap, but there's a difference between that and being quick every lap, over and over and over. If you can do that, if you can gain ground when your opponents make mistakes, but then not make mistakes on your own, you can just push and push.
It looks like it's time for the victory ceremony once again, as I can see the drivers beginning to make their way out for the celebrations. You can see it on their faces. It's another marvellous team win for Prema today. Now let's take a look at the driver's standings. It's a good result for Mick Schumacher, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And now, and here we are, back after yesterday's exciting feature race for today's sprint. The top 8 from yesterday have been reversed for the grid down below, and we're almost ready to start. As we await the start of another hugely anticipated Formula 2 race, I'm joined again by Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as a former GP2 champion, can we get some insight to what is running through these young drivers' heads as they sit out on the grid?
Ciao Alex, it's a pleasure to be here. There are nervy moments, there is no doubts about that. Mental strength is the key to remaining calm and focusing on the upcoming race. Formula 2 is so competitive, and all of these drivers knows that they are going to be pushing each other all of the way. In this sport, you have to be able to control your nerves.
Right, for the second race of the weekend, we are on to the sprint race. We do get a beautiful start right off the line as we're challenging Tictum 4P4 already. They do go 3 wide, leaving us no space for us to overtake or try and squeeze in somehow. but we do manage to stick onto P5, not losing any positions as PK goes down the inside of us, almost making severe contact that could have spun us around. As we look at the replay, we do see them going 3 wide. There was no way I could fit myself into that fight, so I had to back off, challenging the likes of PK for P5 as we do get past him. Now ahead of us we have Tiktam. We are setting up for the overtake. We do go down the inside of Tiktam. Tiktam cannot reply as we seal that position, or rather did we think we sealed the position, as Tiktam comes down the inside, almost hitting Schwartzman off the track completely as he makes contact, but we did make the move stick. This is lap 1, eventful already. We have made up a position as we hit the wall, coming up into the second part of this racetrack. Now this is a part of the racetrack that I absolutely love because of how closely you can follow without losing a lot of time. Like this, coming up the castle section, exactly, it looks beautiful. It has an amazing scenery and it's a beautiful corner nonetheless. Now we are on the start finish straight as Luca Giotto sets the fastest lap of the race with Schwartzman ahead of us, Daruvula ahead of him, and Luca Giotto leading the race. So we do set a purple sector 1. This is towards the end of lap 2. A green sector 2. So many trucks outside. Hope you guys can hear that. So I got disorientated. Where was I? Yeah, so we do set up the overtake of on Schwartzman ahead of us. We do have slipstream advantage. He does not have the same advantage we have against Daruvula because Daruvula is farther back in front. So we do set up for the overtake, going towards the left side of him, and we do make the move stick. Crossing the line, we have taken P3 and the fastest lap of the race, setting a purple sector 3 as well. So now DRS is activated. Looking at the replay, we did make that overtake stick. We passed him on the line, directly on the line, making that move for position 3, or was it position 2? Yes, position 3, as we do set the fastest lap in lap 2. So now in front of us we have Jehan Daruvula. We can set up this overtake into the long straight. So if we get this part flat out, we do manage to get some crazy drive out of it, but we happen to lift a little bit due to the dirty air, but nonetheless we do get a terrific drive out of that series of corners. As Jehan Daruvula goes defensive, we go down the right side of him as we make the overtake for P2. Now ahead of us we have Giotto, who is only 1.8 seconds ahead of us at the moment. Thank you, Jeff, that was a nice move indeed. So coming up to the end of lap 4, we happen to reach the final lap quick. This race is only 5 laps, and those 5 laps go by quick, especially when you're chasing the car in front of you, because it seems like time loses its value. So ahead of us we have Giotto, who is only 1.1 seconds ahead of us. As we do gain, we are gaining especially towards the end of the first sector. Up into the castle section, we are only 6/10 away from him as we speak. 7/10, it keeps on changing. So coming up to the final part of the track, this is where we have to make the overtake stick because it is the final lap, so a pass here guarantees us the win. So we set up this overtake from the previous turn that you just saw right there, ladies and gentlemen. Coming up, getting a crazy drive. Now we are right behind him, rather is what I meant to say. We do get slipstream as we're going to pass the DRS detection sector. Now we get slipstream, we go towards the left, we go towards the right, but we manage to stick to the left side as we pass him right before the checkered flag, and that is a win for us in Baku, here in the sprint race. An amazing performance by us. We did manage to get the overtake done very swiftly, but then we did get a little bit too cocky, swerving left and right, trying to see where he's gonna go. We managed to get the move stuck, but we passed him only just at the checkered flag. That was an amazing overtake. It was the overtake at the last possible second, which we made stick. So we do win this race. There we are, coming out of our car as race winners. This is another race win under our F2 belt.
Everyone else out there on the track, we could spend a great deal of time talking about race and tire strategy, what has occurred on the track, but at the end of the day, the difference here was down to simply being faster on track than everyone else. Amazing skill on show.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, podium celebration for the second time, or is it the third time? I'm not sure how many wins we have so far, but once again we step on the top step of the podium, winning the Baku sprint race. We did finish P3 in the feature race, P1 in the sprint race. So this weekend we have collected a massive amount of points against our championship rival Mick Schumacher. Right, so looking at the standings, we are P1, Giotto P2, and Daruvla in P3. Mick Schumacher finished in P7, only making up one position in the sprint race. Looking at the championship standings, we are P4. Ahead of us, we have Sonoda and Schwartzman with Mick Schumacher leading. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all in the next video. Take care and peace.